Let's take you back to our earlier story. County governments stand to generate more revenue. That is if 6 bills drafted by the Commission on Revenue Allocation are approved. Let's bring in Joy Doreen Bera to take a look at what this now portends for the counties in the country. Joy?
Yes, Linda. The Commission on Revenue Allocation, CRA, and the Kenya Association of Manufacturers have partnered and come together, drafted 5 bills, not 6 like you mentioned. They are 5 as they seek to generate more revenue for the counties at the end of the day. And joining me to further enlighten us more on this is the Commission on Revenue Allocation Chair, that is Micah Cheserem, and also he is the former CBK governor. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
It's such an honor having you in studio. Kindly briefly tell us about these bills and what exactly you are aiming to achieve, how much revenue you hope you can collect out of them.
Okay. If I take you the background, the first place, when the county government came into place, in the first year and the last year, there was a lot of outcry because they raised fees very high, because basically there was a dispute that they didn't get enough money on equitable share, and they really raised the charges a lot. So the major complaint came from the private sector, that there was double taxation, they are being harassed. So partnering and talking to the private sector, Kenya Association of Manufacturers are a major organization. They said their members were very unhappy. So we have gone to the ground and really worked with all county governments to prepare these 5 pieces of legislation which really make sure there is no double taxation, which makes sure when you move from one county to another, you are not charged extra fees. But more importantly, the whole spirit of CRA is to create a conducive environment in the private sector, because we want to attract the private sector. We have seen governors going overseas asking investors to come to Kenya. If already those ones in town are unhappy, the moment they come here, they'll ask them how is the environment. They'll be told things are very bad.
Yes.
So basically, these pieces of legislation are meant to make sure to create the right environment. So they will not necessarily increase the taxes, but the taxes will be very fair. And I want to say that every part of Kenya is a county. And honestly, if we go the route we are going, we will not attract foreign investors. We will not be competitive. And if there are no investors here, we won't have those jobs for so many young people. So the governors are bought into this, the members of county assembly are bought into this, and the whole idea is really to make sure there is fairness in taxation.
All right, so just tell us about these draft bills. Can you just define them specifically and what each of them probably hopes to address?
Yeah, the first one is called Revenue Administration Act, and that's basically administration of revenue, so that does not raise any tax. The Finance Act will be used, the Finance Act is really a taxation measure. Remember, they are expected to entertainment taxes. Article 209 empowers county government to collect entertainment tax and property rates and charges. So county governments are not allowed to collect taxes that national governments are already collecting. They cannot go on and say, we want you to pay income tax. So Finance Act is here to collect basically entertainment tax. Now, Rating Act. This is very, very important.
Right.
Rating Act. That is the biggest revenue earner for properties. Take Nairobi County. Nairobi County, I think, are relying on a valuation roll of 1982.
Right.
So this Rating Act should be able to allow them to revise a valuation roll more quickly. Governor Guerrero was saying, just by increasing the rates, property rates, he has raised revenue to something like 13 billion shillings. 13 billion for Nairobi using old Rating Act. But if he uses the new one, and they say the property is charged an improved site value. So, Rating Act to us is very, very important. And I want to say a bit more on Nairobi. If they collect the right property rates, Nairobi, in 5 years, Nairobi will not be part of the sharing of revenue. Nairobi, if it's raising now 14 billion, in 4 or 5 years, they could raise 40 billion on rates alone. What does that mean? It means Nairobi can even release some of the money to the poorer counties. So this Rating Act is very important.
Okay.
Number 4, Public Participation Act. At the moment, there is no definition of public participation. Counties have been taken to court that there was no public participation. So this particular act says, how shall we conduct public participation? Our constitution is very, very strong on public participation, that people must be consulted. So this one says, it will say in each county, how shall we conduct the public vis-a-vis taxation.
Right.
And then Trade Licensing Act. There's a lot of trade licenses. The challenge here is to reduce the trade licenses as to really define what will it cover. Because at the moment, if Coca-Cola moves Coca-Cola from here, Nairobi, say to Kitui, if it passes 1-2 counties, goes from Nairobi to Machakos, Governor Mutua can say, pay me some money. It goes to Kitui, pay me some money. We want to stop that.
All right. There's somewhere in the bill where they say even people who have home farms are going to be able to pay taxes. This is something that is in one of the draft bills, but do you think this is viable?
People who have got
farms, their own personal farms, are also going to be liable to paying taxes.
Farms?
Yes, like home farms where they grow agricultural produce in the agriculture sale bill. Is this viable if people with this little income are also being taxed?
No. Remember taxation, the revenue you get from taxing must be much more than the cost of collection. So I don't think that will happen. If you're going to grow sukuma wiki in your own compound, madam, go ahead. I don't think you'll be taxed.
All right. County allocation, when you started CRA, it was much less than what you had hoped. And it's how many years now down the line?
This is the 3rd year.
How challenging has it been, knowing that many counties say the allocation has not been enough?
Let me say, money is never enough. Even Joy, here where you are, your salary is never enough, is it? Nobody says it's enough.
I'm comfortable.
But there's a problem in Kenya. The revenue of the country, collected by CRA, roughly 1 trillion. The budget is 2 trillion. So we have got this huge gap. The national government had a lot of pressure to pay debt, and a lot of pressure. You have seen teachers, they want more pay. So national government, CRA has recommended money to county governments. Whatever we recommend is always reduced because national government rightly says we can't afford this money.
Right.
Ideally, after 3 years, we shall be allowing county government to borrow. At the moment, they are not allowed to borrow.
So in 3 years' time, we'll be seeing them.
In 3 years, next year, they should borrow. But we will not want them to borrow like national government.
All right. So how soon do we expect that these draft bills will be approved?
These draft bills will now be discussed in every county government. These bills will be discussed by every county government. They will take their own time to approve them, but it's to facilitate them. Because what is very clear, if a county wants to attract investors, it must have an environment that is conducive to investors. Because there is no point to travel all the way to America. I read the papers today, governors from North Rift and South Rift went to persuade investors to come. That's a very good thing. But what we must do first is to create the environment here. Environment. And I must say very fast.
Okay.
We have got very plotted county governments. We have too many employees. If you go to every county government virtual headquarters, you can see wastage straight away. So the first thing they have to do in the next 2 years is to reduce the number of employees.
Reduce the number of
employees.
All right.
Because it's a burden on private sector.
Right. I wish we really had more time for this, but at least the information has been passed across. Thank you so much. It was an honor having you explain to us about the bills and, of course, what exactly they mean for the county governments. CRA Chair Micah Cheserem talking to us about the partnership with the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. 5 draft bills have been put out to generate more income for the county governments. Business news is coming up shortly. Do stay with us.